And we're getting those storms from out west over here on the East Coast now, down in Florida. You'd think that there's a hurricane coming. The winds are so strong. Anyways, I get a lot of questions about introducing new birds into your flock and when to introduce chicks into your OG flock. And so let's talk about that. Because honestly, I've always found that it's just not really that serious. And I also always feel like I sort of go against the grain and against what is advised throughout the interwebs. But let me just tell you how it's worked for me. There are two things that are very important, I found. The first is to always introduce new chickens in groups. I don't ever introduce just one chicken at a time. Always 2 or more, as many as possible. It kind of depends on the size of the flock though and the size of the chickens. So for example, in my lake bar pen over here, I just put in 2 golden cuckoo Marants. Now they're all adults. There was only 4 lake bars in here to begin with, and I put in 2 more Maran hens, which actually brings me to my second point. And that is, I always introduce birds at night. Introduce birds in groups and introduce them at night. So these are how my Marans and lake bars are doing. Everybody's just fine. The new girls are fitting right in. Now, I mean, that first morning after I put them in there was a couple things that appeared like squabbles, but it wasn't really. For the roosters, they just had new hens in there and they needed to like mark their territory, so to speak. And that's totally normal. It's totally normal in any flock when there's new chickens introduced for them to need to re-establish the pecking order. All right, let's take a look at some more. It is also generally advisable that you introduce birds to each other around the same size. But I kind of go by the breeds of chickens and what I'm dealing with. So for example, my silky pen acts like transitional housing for any chicks of any age, no matter what. My silkies will take in anything. Hello, silkities. So as you can see, I have my silky flock. And then, do you see those guys right there? These guys are 4-week-old cochins. 4-week-old bantam cochins, who I introduced about 4 days ago. I did add an additional feeder and water, because that's really the big problem in here with my silkies, is sometimes the older chickens won't let the newer ones get to the food and water, so an additional feeder and water took care of that problem. But it's actually working out really well with them and my silkies, because technically it's a little early for them to be out of the brooder, but they are fully feathered. I'm in Florida, so temperatures are pretty warm, but all of these little 4-week-old bantams are like nesting with the silkies at night. They're like all huddled together in a little ball, and it's really cute. So everything is going well so far. I did, like I said, introduce them at night, and I introduced 8 of them total. Those 6 of the bantam cochins, and then there's 2 little olives in there also. And then we have this pen, which is also sort of a mixed grow out pen. I have some blue olives. They're about 10 weeks old. Some black copper Marans. They're more like 5 months old. And then some silky roosters who I'm undecided what I'm going to do with. But as you can see, I just sort of have a hodgepodge of different breeds of chickens and different sizes. And everybody gets along really well in here. Now, with all of this being said, I would never put like baby chicks just randomly in a coop with older chicks. I would always wait until they're like 4 to 6 weeks old at least, so that they're moving around easily, they know how to eat and drink, and they at least have enough sense to like run away and sort of fend for themselves if the bigger ones started to pick on them. I'm in my coops multiple times every day, so the day after I put new chicks in, and of course I'm keeping an eye on everybody, and I'm seeing how they're establishing pecking order in there just to make sure that everybody's okay. Little cochin babies, are the silkies being sweet to you? The silkities are good surrogate mamas, aren't they? You guys are the best. Follow me for more tips that go against everything you read on the internet.